Okay, so if you've ever felt that huge, immense pressure to get married, or that little sting when another wedding invitation arrives, or just that quiet ache of wondering when is it going to be my turn, then this is for you. We're going to try and reframe this entire conversation, moving away from all that pressure and hopefully toward a sense of peace. Let's dive in. Wow, I mean, just read that. This quote from an anonymous sister, it captures a pain that is so deeply felt, but, it's so rarely spoken about. It's that feeling of being left behind while it seems like everyone else is moving on. And honestly, it's a feeling that is way, way too common. So what is really going on here? This isn't just about a few individual experiences. We're talking about a community-wide challenge that we really need to understand before we can even begin to address it. Let's just say it out loud, right? It's a marriage crisis. If you're feeling this, I want you to know you are absolutely not alone. This is a recognized issue, and it's a source of so much stress for countless people and their families. The pressure is real, and the struggle is everywhere. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because there's data behind the feeling. According to Pew Research, only 17% of Muslims between the ages of 18 and 29 are married. Now, that number, it jumps all the way to 58% for those aged 30 to 49. So what does that tell us? It points to this huge trend. Muslims are getting married later in life, even though the search often starts really early. And what kind of advice do we get in the middle of all this? Well, it usually boils down to this kind of worldly equation, a to-do list, right? A list of tasks you have to complete to earn a spouse. This whole approach, it turns marriage into a project. And if that project fails, well, then all the blame lands squarely on your shoulders. It's just a recipe for anxiety and self-doubt. And that leads us to the most important question of all. In all of our planning, all our swiping, all our efforts, have we forgotten the most important part of the equation? This is the point where we need to pivot our entire perspective. Okay, so that leads us right into our next section, thinking about marriage as a divine provision. We're going to explore how shifting our mindset from one of just pure human effort to one of divine trust can build a much healthier, more faithful way of looking at all of this. The key concept here is rizq. Now, we often think of rizq as, money or food, but it is so much more than that. It is everything God provides for us. And yes, that absolutely includes marriage. Think of it as a provision specifically tailored for you from the one who knows you better than you even know yourself. Now, this is a thought that can bring so much comfort. From the very moment the pen was created, everything that was ever going to happen was written down. Your spouse, the timing of your marriage, it's all part of a grand, divine plan. Nothing is random. It's all recorded, all preordained. And this right here, it just perfectly illustrates that mental shift we need to make. So instead of blaming your own character, I'm too picky, I'm too intimidating, we reframe it. It's not a character flaw. It's a matter of Qadr, of divine destiny. It's not about changing who you are to fit some mold. It's about waiting for the other half of the pair you were literally created as. It's interesting. The author Sarah Eckel noticed this from a totally secular point of view. She realized that whether someone was married or not often had more to do with timing and circumstance, what she calls chance, than with their own worthiness. Now, as Muslims, we get to take this a step deeper. What looks like chance to the world is, for us, Qadr, the perfect divine will of Allah. So, if it's all written, what are we supposed to do? Just sit back and wait? No, not at all. This next part is all about how we turn that divine trust into patient, peaceful, and proactive living. This quote is so beautiful. It reminds us that there is a hidden wisdom in absolutely everything. The things that feel like rejections, the delays, they are so often acts of divine kindness and protection that we just can't see from our limited perspective. If we could see the full picture, our hearts would literally melt with gratitude. And sometimes we do get a little glimpse of that hidden wisdom. The author of the Amalia article shared these personal reflections, realizing that relationships that failed were actually divine interventions, protecting her from so much more pain down the road. Every no from a person was actually a yes to something better from Allah. Now, this doesn't mean we just sit back and do nothing. Our effort is still required. But the nature of that effort changes completely. It becomes healthier. Protect your own peace. Take breaks from the ops. Empower yourself by actually knowing your Islamic rights in a marriage. Build your community. And maybe most important of all, focus on your own growth. You're not just waiting, you are preparing. This slide just sums up the whole shift perfectly. On the left, you've got the worldly equation. It's like a hamster wheel of effort that falsely promises a guaranteed result and usually just leads to burnout. On the right, we embrace the divine equation. Here, our sincere effort is combined with complete trust, tawakkul, and that leads to a divinely timed result that brings peace, not pressure. And, when we live by this divine equation, the outcome we're seeking isn't just a marriage certificate. It's something much, much deeper and more meaningful. This famous hadith just elevates marriage beyond some social or romantic milestone. It's a deeply spiritual act. It completes half our faith. And why? Well, largely because it protects us from some major sins and gives us a partner in worship. So the goal isn't just to get married, but to get married in a way that truly brings us closer to God. And that brings us to the ultimate goal, barakah, divine blessing. Barakah is like that magic ingredient from Allah that makes a little bit feel like a lot and a lot feel truly beneficial. A marriage without barakah is just a contract. But a marriage with barakah, that's a source of immense peace, growth, and goodness. So how do we invite this blessing, this barakah, into our lives? Just look at this list. It's not about being on the right apps or going to the right events. It's all about our relationship with Allah. God consciousness, trust, gratitude, prayer. By focusing on these things, we're not just preparing for a blessed marriage, we are enriching our lives right here, right now, whether we're single or not. So let's end with this thought. Let's just agree to throw out that first question, the one that only leads to despair, and let's replace it with one that opens the door to hope and to wonder and to trust in a plan that is infinitely wiser than our own. Because your story is being written by the best of planners, and the next chapter might just be more beautiful than you can possibly imagine.